grade. It's math, lesson 11, page 44. You're learning today about the different measures of weight in the New Testament. And it says in the King James New Testament, the denarius is referred to as a penny or a pence or as so many pennyworth. This was a very common Roman coin. The parable in Matthew 20 indicates that 1 denarius was a day's wage for a common laborer. In 2 different coins are called a farthing in the King James. It took 16 of the larger and 64 of the smaller to equal 1 denarius. The coin was the least value in the New Testament. The coin with the least value was called a mite. A denarius was actually 128 mites. 2 different words are translated pound in the New Testament. One is a unit of money worth about 100 denarii, and the other was a weight approximately equal to a 3/4 pound. We also talk about talents in the New Testament. It's the largest measure of both weight and money, and it represents 6,000 or more denarii. That would be 20 or more years of work for a common laborer. As weight, it was similar to the Old Testament talent. All right, so I'm going to read you some verses. Listen as I read them, and you can fill in the blanks. We're talking about Nicodemus and how many pounds of spices he used to anoint Jesus' body. And there came also Nicodemus, which at the first came to Jesus by night and brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100-pound weight. He brought 100 pounds. This was about how many kilograms of spices? Okay, it says 1 pound is 0.34 kilograms. So if 1 pound equals 0.34 kilograms, we have 100 pounds. That means we're going to multiply this times 100, move the decimal 2 places to the right. So 100 pounds is 34 kilograms. All right, so let's go to the next one. The next one's talking about a denarius. That is in Matthew 18, verse 24. And this was about where the servant owed the king a lot of money. The first servant owed the king how many talents? And I'll read you the verse. And when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him which owed him 10,000 talents. 10,000. The second servant owed the first servant how many pence? Or that would have been a denarii. But the same servant went out and found one of his fellow servants which owed him 100 pence. And he laid hands on him and took him by the throat, saying, Pay me that thou owest. He owed him 100 pence. All right, so we need to figure out some things here. Working 300 days per year, the first servant would have had to work how many years to earn the amount of his debt? All right, so your book says that 1 denarius was 1 day's labor. All right, so he owed him, and 1 talent was 6,000 denarii. All right, so we're going to set it up as a proportion. So 1 talent is 6,000 denarii. What we have to do is find out how many denarii he had, because 1 denarius is 1 day. We're trying to figure out how long he had to work. So we're actually ultimately trying to find out our days, but we first have to convert it into denarii. So 1 talent is 6,000 denarii. He owes 10,000 talents. How many denarii would that be? All right? So we need to go 6,000 times 10,000, which is 60,000, divided by 1 is going to be 60,000. Okay, so then that means 60,000 denarii. So we have 60,000. Did I do that right? No, more than 60,000. Wait. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros. It's actually 60 million. Woo! I about missed that one. All right, if he working 300 days per year, so we're going to need to figure out if there's 300 days per year that he's going to be working, and this is denarius or denarii. I can't even spell this right. Denarii, and equals 1 day's labor. So we need to take, how many is he working? 300 days per year. So we need to take 300 into 60 million. And I'm not sure why I'm not using my calculator, because this is a calculator problem, guys. We could save ourselves some time. So 6 divided by 300. Hope you're doing this with me. I came up to 200,000 years. Is that what you came up to? 60 million divided by 300. You should have come up to 200,000. That is a ton of time. That poor man would have been a little bit tired, I'm thinking. Now, number 6 says, working 25 days per month, the second servant could have earned the amount of his debt in how many months? Okay, he owes 100 denarii, and 1 denarii is